Shalom, giving all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone at Royal, and shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect destined to be saved under Brother Caleb from the GMist UK London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify the Lord's elect, those of which I spoke of. I always like to start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. And the real Israelites are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. But you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations, because we as a people have been scattered among all the nations through our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 clearly states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I just want to do a video going into some heavy judgments that have been catching some of these people out here. And this particular story is a tale of judgment for these two Sodomites that you can see on the left of the screen there. You know, you've got these two Edomite Sodomites there. That's the before, and on the right is the after picture. One of them basically ended up getting paralyzed. And that was a judgment from Yahweh himself, because as we know, according to the scriptures, let me get this precept. I believe it's Leviticus 20 and verse 13, if my memory serves me correctly. Let's check that out, Leviticus 20 and verse 13. This says, if a man lie also with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. Now, when it says their blood shall be upon them, that means we should not pity them, because they're receiving the recompense of their error through being judged accordingly, because sodomy is a sin unto death. You know, it's not something that's lawful. It clearly says it here. Leviticus 20 verse 13 again, if a man lie also with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely, it's not they shall maybe, or they shall possibly, no, they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Now, we are living in a time of Esau's rulership, so we don't have the power to execute the laws, statutes, and commandments fully. The scripture in Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8 says clearly, the Baruch tongue-tied. The scripture in Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8 says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and to be subject to payments, roughly paraphrasing. So because we're in captivity, we can't execute the laws of the Most High. But when we're in our kingdom, when Yahweh returns and establishes the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be the kingdom of the Israelites on the earth, all these laws are going to be put into effect. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that the Most High doesn't still bring judgment on people for the evils that they do. So I'm going to play this video, and it's actually quite a, I find it quite an uplifting story to see how these Sodomites are catching hell as a result of receiving judgments from the Most High. Let's play this video.
Mexico is so close to the U.S., and you think it's close, it's safe, it's fun. One little incident happens and your whole life is upside down and you can't get help.
Justin Rayford and his boyfriend of almost 3 years, Jared Hill, are dealing with the aftermath of a nightmare scenario they endured while on vacation in Mexico a few weeks ago.
It was my birthday. We, decided to go to Tulum. So, it's absolutely beautiful there.
Upon arriving, the Texas couple decided to go to the beach.
He was like, let's go jump around in the ocean and play around the ocean. And we were just jumping around in waves. And, it was having fun. I was tired and was like, I want to go lay back in the cabana. And I actually started to walk away. I heard a voice inside of me say, you need to watch him. And I turned around and saw a bigger wave come and get him, and it crashed him into the bottom of the ocean. And then I saw him not come up, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Jared was instantly injured.
And he was under the water because he was fully paralyzed, and I had to pull him up. And he was just screaming, I can't move my body, I can't move my body. And I had to pick him up and carry him back to the beach while I was screaming for help. A manager of the beach club came over and I was like, we need an ambulance. I think he broke his neck. And some American doctor ran over and was like, I'm a doctor, can I help? The manager actually told him to go away. Manager says, we called an ambulance, and I was like, okay, great. So then it was just like focusing on Jared because he is screaming bloody murder. Time just kept ticking and ticking and ticking, and I was like, what is going on? Then I noticed staff members started coming around, and the manager had the staff members stand in front of Jared, blocking him from the view of the other people at the beach club. And I was like, this is kind of weird. Probably 45 minutes had passed, and I was like, something is like not right. So I asked one of the people blocking Jared, I said, can you please call an ambulance? And he pulled his phone out, and the manager told him, like, no. And so he put his phone away. So I was like, something is up.
Justin went to the cabana to grab his phone.
So I WhatsApped our concierge and I said, hey, there's been a terrible accident. Jared's in a lot of trouble. I need an ambulance, and I don't think this place is calling them. So he was like, let me see if I can help. He calls the GM, finds out they have not called help. And I was like, I knew it. And then he deleted the WhatsApp message that he had told me this. And I was like, okay, something is going on. I do not feel comfortable at all.
Justin called Red Cross.
I just told Jared, help is coming. It was over 3 hours. And the hospital is 4.5 miles away. With, the person I love most in the world screaming in pain, scared for their life. And I get out of the ambulance and I'm like, okay, like, what are we doing? And there's all these people standing outside and nobody's taking Jared out of the ambulance. Some doctor came out and said, we won't take him out of the ambulance unless you pay us $5,000.
Justin felt he had no choice to pay the money to get the CT scan.
His neck is just like shattered. He broke his C1, his C5, 6, 7, and his spinal cord was bent like an S, and there was pieces of his vertebrae sticking into his spinal cord, and they were just like, this is really bad, like, we can't help you.
The pair went to another hospital.
The bumpiest ambulance ride with a broken neck it took over an hour and a half to get there. They do an MRI on him that took 2 hours. And, I'm just pacing back and forth.
A neurosurgeon told him Jared needed surgery. Justin says doctors still did nothing for over 24 hours.
I am running around this 3-story hospital to the admissions department, to the billing department, to finding nurses to get him more pain medication and getting different stories from like every single department of what is going on and what's happening. They had pushed off the surgery over and over again and made up all these excuses. Like, what can I do? You have everything you're supposed to have. And the neurosurgeon said he could die if we don't do this surgery. And he literally looked at me and he's like, I'm so sorry, there's nothing I can do. And I said, what do you mean? And he picked up his phone and showed me a message from the hospital director saying, I'm going to keep canceling the surgery, get money out of them. They literally just wanted cash to grease the wheel to have the surgery. And this is at a hospital where people are supposed to care about people's well-being in life. They wanted $20,000, so of course I paid.
They still couldn't get surgery.
I don't know what to do. This hospital is giving me the runaround. They wanted a ransom payment. I gave them the ransom payment. They said the surgery was happening. They canceled it.
He pleaded with the neurosurgeon who finally did the procedure.
The surgeon just said, like, I did the best that I can, and I think I did good, but it's not perfect. And that he was hemorrhaging really bad at the top of his neck where your head is, and so they didn't get to fix 2 of his vertebrae. They just had to close them up. They had to do a 360 surgery on him. So they actually had to cut him in the front of his throat first, put his vocal cords over, and pull out the broken fragments from his neck to safely roll him over and then cut him down the back.
The condition of the hospital bothered Justin.
They don't wear gloves. They don't wash their hands. They don't wear protective PPE. I literally had to beg the people in there to not touch him with bare hands in the ICU. And trying to explain to them that he has a spinal cord injury and an incision next to his brain. Like, he cannot have bare hands. And I was like, what sort of ICU is this? This is not a safe zone at all.
After several days, Jared was flown to Houston, Texas.
They were ready for us. There were 3 nurses in there to do a full body assessment, clean him up, take all his vitals, start him on fluids. There was a neurosurgeon in the room within 10 minutes to check him out. They ran tests on him till 3:30 in the morning. So chaotic and exhausting, but it's what saved his life. And it was so wonderful to be back here and feel like you were in good hands. They see he has a spinal cord leak. He still has 2 broken bones in his neck that weren't fixed. And they're like, he has to go into surgery right away. This is life-threatening.
Jared's condition worsened.
And the next thing I know, the surgery for that day was canceled and we couldn't find out why. So one of the doctors pulls me outside of the room and says, he has PE. He has pulmonary embolism. And they said it's blood clots in his lungs. And it was because in the Mexican hospital, they just kept him drugged so he never moved at all and nobody moved him.
Then more bad news.
The head of infectious diseases came in and let us know that he also had meningitis from not being in sanitary or disinfected areas. And again, they said this is super critical because you have a spinal fluid leak. It's next to your brain, and this could kill you. So he was on like 6 different IVs, literally 6 at all times, that he had to be on a blood thinner for the blood clots, 4 different antibiotics. And again, he still couldn't really move. They couldn't fix his spinal cord because they couldn't risk cutting it open because of meningitis.
For days, doctors worked to stabilize him for surgery.
When they cut him open, they discovered that not only were the titanium pieces that they put in Mexico the wrong sizes, they were in the wrong places. So they had to remove everything out, put in all new hardware, and then fuse his C1 and C2, put a plate in the back of his head. They also discovered a cut in his dura of his spinal cord, like a surgical cut, that was, they assume, a mistake made by one of the 2 surgeons in there, and that's why so much fluid was leaking out.
After a nightmarish few weeks...
Now, the thing about this is that these Edomites, right? These Edomites, they're never going to learn from their warnings. You know, a Jake in their right mind would get a lick like that from the Most High and be made humble. And this is the thing. When adversity hits Jake tends to turn to God. Now, I'm not saying Jake becomes a member of the elect or, anything like that. But I'm just saying Jake usually turns to Christian Jesus and will start praying or some shit like that. Because that's kind of in our spirit to do that, even though most people are going off, in Christianity and stuff like that. But Edomites never do that. And Edomites don't really learn from the warning shots, because what basically happened is they caught a warning shot from the Most High, but they're not going to change their ways. So they're going to continue on the path to destruction. And this was just a light taste of what the Most High can do, because the scriptures clearly state that the Most High is the King of terrors. Let's get some precepts on this. Where am I at? Back to Deuteronomy 32 and 39 is what I want. This sums it up. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. I'm just going to get another precept here. Bear me a second. There we go. Yeah, because the Most High wounds and he heals, he kills and he makes alive. And neither is there any that can deliver out of his hand. Now, another scripture that sums up these Edomites is that they can never keep at home, because what the fuck are they doing running around in Mexico, which isn't their land? Let's get that. He's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. This is Habakkuk 2 and verse 5. This says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. This is a parable about these Edomites and their nature. They run around the world in everybody else's country, and they take their filthy habits with them everywhere they go. Now, in that little testimony video from that guy there, he talked about how the hotel manager didn't want to help them, and how other people didn't want to help them, and they're crying about it. Well, look, man, you fuckers have had Jake in all kinds of impoverished conditions, and when did you help them? You know, so it's about time you fuckers get a taste of your own medicine, man. Pardon my foul language, but that's the truth. Crying about, oh, they wanted £20,000, so of course I paid them. Yo, how many times have Jake been in a situation where they needed desperate medical care, and you Edomite doctors in America have refused them care because Jake can't afford it? Jake ain't got £20,000 hanging out his back pocket, but you'll turn him away, and what's he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do for his loved ones, who have genuinely had maybe an accident or an illness, and they can't get medical care? Now you run around to someone else's country, you're running up in Mexico, and you're crying because they're treating you the way you treat people, Jake on the US soil every day, man. Now you're getting a taste of your own medicine, you want to fucking cry and, oh, so of course I paid them. Well, that says a lot, doesn't it? It says a lot. If you got £20,000 hanging at your back pocket to pay for medical care just like that, you did. It basically says a lot, because the thing is with these sodomites and their lifestyles, a lot of these sodomites have very well paying jobs, and because they're not raising families or things like that, they've just got very high disposable incomes. So he was able to pay that ransom money and be like, oh, well, of course I paid. Well, man, you're getting a taste of your own medicine, man. Jake in Mexico is shaking your ass down, but yet every day you shake Jake in America down for medical treatment and shit. So no, I ain't feeling them crocodile tears, man. What other precepts do I want? Richest prophet not in the day of wrath. Where's that? This is Proverbs 11 and verse 4. Richest profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. So, although this Edomite couple survived the judgment of the Lord, it wasn't fatal. Their money is not going to be able to buy them salvation. When Yahushua comes back on them chariots, you're not going to be able to pay your £20,000 ransom money to avoid being destroyed. You know, the thing is with this, right? The Most High brought a heavy judgment on one of those sodomites there, but the fact that the Most High didn't kill him straight away means that there's an even heavier judgment waiting for him, because if the Most High had killed him in one hit, like, okay, he got hit by the wave and he drowned under the water, that would have been a mercy compared to what's coming on the earth soon come when Yahushua returns. So, they may think themselves to be in good case, but they're actually in a worse case. Let me get Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 15, and I'll close this one out. Isaiah, because this is what's going to come. Isaiah 66 verse 15 says, "For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword." So who's the sword of the Lord? Yahushai, on the right hand side. "For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh," meaning to judge, "and the slain of Yahweh shall be many." So that's what's coming, man. And if these Sodomites survive long enough to see Yahushai, they're gonna wish they died in that wave that hit the guy and knocked him underwater. He's gonna wish he died then, rather than to see the terror of Yahushai when he comes back, man. So yeah, that's just that. And the funny thing about that video is that I noticed they've got comments turned off. You know, comments are turned off, and they're trying to paint it as some tragic tale of this poor couple who's so innocent and they never hurt a fly. Nah, man, these guys are Edomites, they're Sodomites, and they're abominable in the sight of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and they're going to be taken off the face of the earth. You know, they're going to be destroyed, and when they come back, they're going straight into chains and into slavery to pay for all the wickedness they've done on this earth. You know, they haven't got away with their sins. You know, judgment's coming. So with that, giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Bakakudash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Well. Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. And I'll catch you on the next lesson. More to Shalom for now.